What inspired you to be an author?
I wanted to be an author since 5th grade. In 5th grade, I fell in love with a book, and I wrote to the author of that book, a book called Redwall by Brian Jakes. And much to my surprise, he wrote me back, and he encouraged me to keep using my imagination and to keep daydreaming, and maybe one day I could grow up to be an author. And that was the first time a grown-up had ever taken my daydreams seriously, and I thought, yeah, if he can do it, I can do it. Maybe I can be an author. And so I really wanted to be an author from that point on, and I started reading all the time, and I realized through books and through stories, I could go anywhere. I could meet people who were nothing like myself, and I could meet people who felt exactly like myself. I could get myself to know myself better, and I could get to know other people better through books and through stories. And the more I read, and the more I learned, and the more I practiced writing, I learned that storytelling is one of the most powerful things humans can do. The most powerful thing you can do is tell another person a story. And I wanted to participate in that. I wanted to be a part of making up stories and sharing them with other people. And with every story I write and share, and with every story that someone else writes and shares with me that I read, I feel like I learn a little bit more about what it is to be human. And writing is a way of figuring out for me, what is this thing called being human about? Whether it's in a funny action story like the 39 Clues, or a realistic, contemporary, or a sci-fi thing, every one of those stories can participate in telling a little piece of what it is to be human and making our world a little bigger and a little. I can't imagine a cooler job than doing that. So I love it. And that's what inspired me to be a writer, because ever since I was 11 years old, I had this dream, and I stuck to it, and here I am now talking to you all. Because I've been lucky enough to have people who like my stories, and who are generous enough with their imaginations to read my stories and to bring my stories to life. My stories don't come to life without a reader. So readers are the other half of the equation. Without a reader, a book is nothing. What is it? It's just a piece of paper stuck between some other pieces of paper. But with readers, it comes alive. So I'm so grateful to the readers for bringing my stories to life.
Why did you choose the history about Hindenburg when you're about to create?
Because it was the Hindenburg was such a crazy story. In the era of airships, there were dreams of airships becoming the way people traveled. They were extremely popular. All the most important people traveled by airships. They were building a dock for an airship on the Empire State Building in New York City. Airships were the wave of the future. And then the Hindenburg crashed, and the entire airship industry disappeared overnight and became unsafe. And it was like this whole, it was as if the internet right at the beginning got hacked, and people said, oh, never mind, let's not do this internet thing. Who knows what the world would have been like if airships had continued? So I thought that is an amazing piece of history that we don't think about a lot. And in terms of disasters, it was also the first disaster caught on film as it happened. So it was kind of dawning of the age of the filmed disaster. And so it changed everything about how media reported on these things. So it was a giant moment for transportation. It was a giant moment for media. And I wanted to do something with that. And I also then was thinking about this idea of the race to space and what's going on with all that new technology now. And I thought it was a great combination of this new industry that's just emerging, that's really exciting, but also really dangerous. And it was a cool way of exploring that. And ultimately, with the Cahills, you've got to push them to either amazing locations around the world or really cool technology, really cool stuff. That's one of the challenges of writing 39 Clues is, what's the next bigger cool thing you can do? And it seemed like airships, which is really cool. So I wanted to write something really cool. I called my editor and I said, I'm taking the Cahills into space. And she laughed and she said, oh, we've talked about the Cahills in space before, but never knew how to do it. And I was like, this is how, because it's real. I have a friend who makes spacesuits for Red Bull and for the space jumping competitions and stuff. And so I interviewed him about the reality of all this technology that they're trying to develop. And it was just so insane. It was so amazing that I thought, I've got to write about that. I've got to put Dan Cahill in a jumpsuit and throw him out of the sky. Let's see what happens. And it was really fun to do. I had a great time.